everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do a 2-page stay-at-home scrapbook layout. The paper that I'm using for today is actually from scrapbook.com. It's Simple Stories and it's called Walnut Cream Dot. And I really like this paper. It's actually the same paper. On the back side you have the hardwood floor, and in the front you have like a cream polka dot paper. And I really like it because I'm trying to make a scene in my new house, and this is kind of how it does look. I do have hardwood floors and my walls in my living room are cream colored, so I thought this would be best, and I didn't want to go ahead and waste the back side since I did have my hardwood floors. So I'm gonna make it work. It does measure 11.5 by 11.5, and I did ink my edges with my Stampin' Up! Early Espresso. So there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm just going to use my ATG and tape it down. Pretty good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and back this on a piece of 12 by 12 craft cardstock paper. Now for the bottom part, for my hardwood floor part, I did cut it out at 11.5 by 3 1/8. Next, I do have two strips of cardstock. They do measure 11.5 by 1/4. I have one for the bottom and one for the top. Next, I do have a Googled border that I brought down to my silhouette and traced. And now for this one, it does measure 11.5 by 3/8. Now this is actually the same border. All I did was duplicate the bottom one, right-clicked it, and clicked on Release Compound Path, and then remove my border. So what it did is it removed those little gaps in between where you see the circle, semicircle. In order to just it's the same one. All I did is just remove those gaps. Have one for the bottom and one for the top. my next page. I actually already have it ready. To start off, I do have two photo frames. My photo frames are from Miss K Cuttables. It does measure 5.5 by 5.5. For the inside, it does measure 4 1/4 by 4 3/8, and on both of them I did internal offset on my silhouette. Now for this layout, my idea was to do a home layout, just because, you know, we've been at home for a couple of weeks now because of the COVID-19 virus. Everybody's pretty much quarantined at home. So I thought it would be nice to do a layout just hanging out at home with the family. But my idea was to use what I have already with my files. So the majority of the files, except for two things, and I'll tell you what it is, everything else was pretty much something I already had. Honestly, it took me, I think, more than a day of working on this layout on my computer, just to finalize everything to how I liked it, meaning all the files that I was using. What I was doing actually was also cleaning up my computer, backing up my files to my hard drive, and that's where I found a lot of the files that I'm using for today also. And when I say it took me more than a day, it doesn't mean I was on my computer all day. I was there for a couple of hours and then off and on. But again, the majority of the stuff is things I already had. I wanted to do something fun. And yeah, that's what I'm doing today. Before I forget, I did get this idea to do this layout from Pinterest, so it's actually not my own. I tried to use it and kind of recreate it. And to start off, I wanted to go ahead and have a rug on my floor. I'm trying to recreate my living room. And what I did on the left side of your silhouette, it lets you pick out shapes. So what I did is I clicked on a circle. I brought it down to my computer, and I pretty much messed around with it a little bit. It was a regular circle, and I pretty much stretched it out, brought it down a little bit, just to, I eyeballed it. I don't even know what the measurements for it was, but I kind of saw how I liked it, and then with my knife feature I cut it, and then I duplicated and flipped it. So I have this here, and again, this would appear like a rug in the living room. Next, I do have two windows. They do measure 5 1/8 by 3 3/4. Next, I do have two furniture pieces. For my couch, it does measure 7 5/8 by 3 5/8, and I did add a little bit of dimension with foam tape. And for my chair, this one measures 4 1/8 by 4 inches, and I also added foam tape just to give it a bit of dimension. Okay, raise it up more. Next, I do have my TV. It measures 4 1/2 by 4 3/4. Now, the layout that I saw on Pinterest actually had a TV similar to this. This I actually don't have. In my living room, I have a flat screen TV on the wall, hooked on the wall. But I really liked the TV that they had on the layout, so I found one actually on the Silhouette store. I think I typed in television, and this one popped out, and I really liked it. I showed it to my husband, and he actually laughed. He's like, "Oh, this is a retro." So this one, I'll go ahead and put it over here. Next, I do have my little table. It measures 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. Next, I do have a toy box. It measures 3.5 by 2.5. Next, I do have popcorn. It measures 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And I also have a soda. It measures 1 7/8 by 1 inch. And the popcorn, I popped it up on 1 thickness of foam tape. I have a little journaling card, but I still don't know where I want to put it. Maybe here. I originally thought about putting it behind my little couch, my chair, but maybe I'll put it here. We'll see. Next, I do have my little girl and my little boy. For my little girl, she does measure 4 1/8 by 4 3/4. For the boy, he does measure 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. And she's popped up on 1 thickness of foam tape. And for him, his ice cream is popped up on 1 thickness of foam tape, and he's laid down flat. He was the only file along with the TV that I purchased for this layout. This is from Marjorie and Designs, and the only reason I bought this file is because this file actually comes with an ice cream truck, and I'm going to be doing a layout on that quite soon, the ice cream truck, and it happened to come with a boy, so I decided to use this one. But other than that, I already had the little girl and everything else. Oh, and for her, I popped her up on 1 thickness of foam tape except for her head, because she's going to go right here, and the couch is already popped up on 1 thickness of foam tape, so I didn't want it to be off. Like so. I know, there's a lot going on, but I really like it. I pretty much threw myself at this layout just because I was getting a little bit sad with everything that's going on. You know, I know I really have nothing to be sad about. I have my family safe at home. Thankfully, I'm able to be here with them. But you know, so many things going on right now. I haven't been able to see my mother, and I really miss her. We've been FaceTiming a lot, but I've just been sad. You know, I'm so used to seeing my mother so more often, and so in order to just not be sad about what's going on, I threw myself at scrapbooking. I thought, okay, it helped me stop thinking about other stuff. Especially with everything that's going on, it just throwing myself at scrapbooking just really helped me. And today's actually a pretty good day. My husband is working from home today. It's a little bit easier on the days, well, kind of easier on the days that he's here, because he gets to help me out with the kids. So this morning, he's so wonderful. He got up early and went to get us pastries, get the kids pastries. He brought me back a hot chocolate. It's the little things that just make you smile. So my kids were happy enjoying eating some vegan pastries. They love it. Especially my son went crazy. But that's okay. I think the first thing that I'm going to do as soon as we're able to safely leave the house, I am going to go visit my mother. Honestly, she doesn't live that far from me, about 10 minutes or so. But I'm so used to seeing her every single day. Even now, I speak to her. We FaceTime about 2 to 3 times a day. But I'm so used to seeing her, and because she does, when I work, she takes care of my kids. So I would, let me see. I would see her when I would go drop off my kids, and even on my days off, we would go to the mall and do stuff. So yeah. But, you know, things will get better. I really like this furniture set. I actually had never used it before. I think this file, it's a Christmas file, and I hadn't been able to use it. And this file as well, I think I bought it. I think it's a Super Bowl file, and I think I purchased a file in order to use a Super Bowl theme, and I just never did it. I have so many files like that, but I'm glad I was able to finally use this one. And as you can see, it's pretty much a really tight fit. My little baby, she actually turns 6 years old next week. I can't believe it. They grow up so fast. And there you have it. This is my 2-page stay-at-home scrapbook layout. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.